I'm Sean Dibb, founder of Dawning Filters. Some 36 years ago, started at a very young age in the business.
And I'm Mark Dane. I'm also joint CEO with Sean. I've been with the business for 8 years. Sean and I are both turning 60 this year, and we just thought, we didn't know how long the process would take. And we didn't want to get to a retirement age where we wanted to retire and then start looking for an investor.
So Dawning Filters, initially how the company started, it derived out of a canvas converting business where I was charged as a sales rep for the industrial division and was calling on clients who were importing filters. I saw a gap in the market where we had sewing machines and said, well, we can manufacture these, will you be willing to support us? Of which was a positive, they would. And we started manufacturing filter bags with the types of fabrics that I could source locally. Eventually I needed to diversify in terms of the product range and went overseas, got some agencies, and that's how the company grew. We manufacture a range of liquid filter bags, dust filter bags. We import a huge range of products ranging from filtration bags to cartridge filters to filter housings. We represent a number of large agencies, one of the likes being Eaton, which is an American-owned German company where we represent them. They are the largest bag liquid filtration company in the world. We're their sole supplier for sub-Saharan Africa and Africa. And then we probably have about another 30 different agencies of different products, varying from cartridge filters for water filtration, bag filtration. We do a lot in the automotive industry for paint filtration. We do a lot of dust filtration where we actually manufacture our own product. We bring the raw material and then convert it into a made-up finished product. We bring in hardware, which is the filter housings itself, where the bags go into. We import out of the East and out of Germany. We also bring in some specialist self-cleaning filters, which we use. It's something that's new to us in the industry, which is becoming quite relevant. We also have a very nice range of air filtration products, which are used in the hospitals, in the theatres, and used extensively in the food and beverage industry, which is a big side of our market, which is growing significantly. And also on the water treatment side, probably that's our quickest and biggest market at the moment in terms of growth because of the water situation we have here in South Africa. We've got a huge range of products. A couple years ago, it must have been 3 years ago, I was approached by Benchmark. I got a phone call from a chap in Cape Town and said, Sean, would you be interested in selling your business? And this is who we are. No, bring them around. Let's have a chat. And Mark and I had a number in our head that we knew what the company was worth. And we basically said, we can get that number, we'll sell it. And we got the number.
Obviously there was a process. Then they went to market. We had quite a lot of interaction first with Benchmark, so they knew exactly who we were and what they were trying to market. So we had a chat and we thought it's best to start now, and then if there is any workout period or anything like that, we would still be within our age limit. And so we started the process. It did happen a lot quicker than we anticipated, but we thought, that's also okay because we've got a deal on the table and we're still in it for the next 4 or 5 years, or however long we want to be in it for. So that was our main motivation. We didn't want to start it just before we retired. We wanted to make sure that we did it and had plenty of time before our retirement age. If I remember correctly, we signed NDAs with 20, 25, 26 different companies, yes, which was great. And then it just progressed from there. After that, we whittled it down to probably 10, and then Sean and I had choices to make. People then started making offers. It got down to the final 3, and they had all put offers on the table.
Because of the due diligence process and the whole sort of lead up to the sale of the business, we had quite a number of, as Mark mentioned, we had about 25 signed NDAs, and then we probably had about 10 companies really interested in the business. So we had literally 10 parties in and out of here quite often. I think it was very well received. I think there were obviously a lot of questions, that were asked about, and what I mentioned is what will happen when they take over in terms of, owning majority share. Will they bring in people? Will our jobs be safe? I think that was probably the biggest concern of all the staff, which nobody lost their job. Everybody's happy, but I think it was just uncertainty. But funny enough, Mark and I had a conversation with one of the Deneb companies, in fact, 3 of them. And the one chap, one of the Australian-based companies that Deneb own, in the conversation we were having, he said, if I hadn't have told my staff that we were selling the company or sold the company, they wouldn't have known.
Benchmark were completely on our side. And through the whole process, they were next to us and helped us along the way. And they really were amazing. The team that was working with us, everyone was amazing. And they really did hold our hand, because it's new to us. It's not something we're familiar with, through the whole process. In fact, it ended up being so easy for Sean and myself because of Benchmark. I'm so glad we went with Benchmark, because they made it so easy. I think that's the main reason that we went with Deneb, is that the fit was just so perfect compared to the other guys. And they also gave us the time period we wanted before our retirement, so we could work for the next 4 or 5 years without worrying about going into retirement too early.
In fact, they would want us to work for the next 10 years if we want to. So that's quite a nice thing. And also, as I mentioned earlier before we went on air, is that, I want to leave something behind. And as I said, a legacy. The word legacy came because it's my baby, and I didn't want to just give it to anybody and then see it fail. And then, to me, that just wouldn't work for me. And as I mentioned, my brother runs the Johannesburg operation. I have my nephew down in Cape Town, and I have one of my top sales ladies here. Her daughter works for us, plus her son-in-law. So there's quite a lot of closeness in terms of the actual staff that are involved, although we have over 70 staff members. And you want, when I leave, I don't want to just leave them in the lurch, and then, they badmouth me for having left them in the lurch. So, and I just thought Deneb, the feel about the guys and everything that Mark and I discuss, how we think they will operate, they've come to the party in terms of that. And they're just really a nice bunch of guys to work for. And I'm so happy we went for them in the end.
Well, we really have. That's how much we respect the company. And so people have already spoken to us, said, wow, that happened quickly. And we've already passed on the name to people who have asked us, because we do have no negatives. Honestly, there's not one, I can't think of one issue that we had during our partnership with Benchmark. And it's, so yes, to answer your question, we really have passed on the name to a number of people. And I couldn't have wished for a better outcome.
Yeah. And I don't think we could have done it on our own. Absolutely not. Without someone knowing how to sell a business. I think we would have probably left a lot on the table and missed out on a few things if Benchmark hadn't guided us in terms of the whole process. That is, I can tell you for sure.